There's a fine line between pushing your limits and ignoring your gut. Today started out as a sunny spring hike. By the time I reached Rainbow Lake, the trail had vanished, the snow was at my sock line, and I was starting to get psyched out. This is a raw look at my solo backpacking trip to Little Bandera Peak, Mason, and Rainbow Lake in the Alpine Lakes Wilderness of Washington State, and why I chose to backtrack when things got sketchy, as well as why sometimes the most unstoppable thing you can do is know when to head back to camp.
Hi all and welcome. I am Kristen and this is my channel Unstoppable Outside. It is a beautiful spring day. We are getting a bit of a heat wave, but we also got some snow up in the mountains or the Cascades just a couple days ago. So as part of this trip, there's a few things that I checked to make sure that it was safe to go out into the mountains because it is still spring. First of all, I checked NWAC, which is the Northwest Avalanche Center, to see what the avalanche conditions are. And from 4,000 and below, it is low. The avalanche conditions above 4,000 feet are considerable or moderate. And this hike does go up to around 5,000 feet if I go up to Little Bandera. But the ultimate goal is Mason and or Rainbow Lake. And those are around 4,100 to 4,200 feet. I did check trail reports and Facebook groups for folks having gone out there recently, and there was a post from within the last 24 hours of folks going out yesterday at the top of Little Bandera that shares the trail, and the conditions looked really good. And then I checked the weather, and it is crazy heat wave. Like, it's going to be 70 degrees in Seattle this weekend, and up in the mountains it's going to be in the 50s, and lows are going to be high 30s. So pretty comfortable and something I've been doing all winter long. The trek to Mason Lake is still only 3.5 to 4.5 miles. The plan is to find a campsite there, drop the gear, and then go out to Rainbow Lake. And I've brought snowshoes and micro spikes to be ready for whatever conditions.
Just about to the parking lot and the official trail for Mason Lake. And I think it's time to take a layer off. For this trip, I am wearing my winter boots because there is deeper snow once we get down to the Alpine Lakes Wilderness or even up to Bandera Peak. I wanted to make sure I had more waterproof and higher boots to keep my feet dry. These are the bogs that I got in Mount Hood at the beginning of winter, and tried them out in different conditions all year long, and they keep my feet really dry unless I'm standing still in cold temperatures. Some things I don't like about them, even though they were $45 clearance, is the leather really stretched out. So at first they were true to size, but now I have to wear 2 pairs of socks so that I don't slide around too much. Additionally, the soles are fairly soft, and so especially when you're wearing micro spikes or on really rocky terrain, you can really feel that versus a nice thick and stiff Vibram sole. So I would say they're not going to be the long-term winter boots for the next couple of years, but it was a really good deal and worth trying out. Just ran into the first splash of snow at about 2,800 feet. So yeah, it's definitely going to be more as we get up there. So we'll see what gear I actually need to use. Just hit 4,000 feet and getting a little bit more snow. Don't quite need my micro spikes because they're still ground patches, but it might be time for micro spikes soon. Definitely it's time for sunglasses. So much sun. Definitely getting some reflection. Reached my my turnoff for Bandera and Mason Lake. So we're gonna do an out and back up Bandera Peak, which I've never done before. And then we're gonna head down to Mason Lake, look for a camp spot, and then explore the area and see if we can actually find a place that we even need our snowshoes. Otherwise, good training weight today. This was literally straight up this rock trail. Big steps. Definitely working hard. Got a little bit more snow. Probably not wearing snowshoes, and really haven't felt like I needed my micro spikes yet. But we're at 4,800 feet, so we're gonna keep going a little bit further, see how the snow goes, and then definitely gonna take a little lunch break before we head back down to Mason Lake. Slow going. I'm only going like just under a mile an hour right now. Oh man, I can see all the way to Mount Adams down there. Very cool. I actually got some deeper untouched snow up here. It's beautiful. Well, I'm on the top of Little Bandera. I've got a peekaboo view through the trees, but we're gonna go back a little bit further because we don't have a view of Mason Lake from right here. And this ridge gets really narrow and steep on both sides, and there's a lot more snow. And yeah. Doesn't feel very safe. Dropping over the ridge, down into the basin for Mason Lake. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's downhill. And there's snow, so if needed, I'll pull out my spikes. We're gonna get some water right now because sometimes the campsites can be a little bit of a trek from here. Cold and refreshing, but definitely very earthy tasting. So I believe this is one of the first camp spots up here. I think I'm gonna wander over to the campsite that I had last summer because it just had primo water access. This is home sweet home for the night. The spot I have been at before, there's actually someone there with a tent, so good for them. But yeah, this is nice and flat up above the lake. I don't need to go down to the lake for water per se, just for some sun, so I think this is a good spot. Bringing 3 new pieces of gear with me, and they're all replacements for things that I already had but wanted to get something different or because of gear failure. One is a new headlamp by BioLite, and this is a rechargeable headlamp. Unfortunately, I charged it up before coming up here, and despite having a locking mechanism, it got turned on in my pocket and drained all the battery already. So fortunately, I have a charger and charged it back up. I've been doing headlamps that just take AAA batteries, but for longer trips, I wanted to transition to a rechargeable, and then I'll have a just my older headlamp with the AAA batteries as my backup. If you watched my gear repair episode as part of the 10 Essentials, then you know that my pillow I had this past summer that I love unfortunately sprung a bunch of micro holes, so I have invested in a new cocoon, Hyperlight, Air Core travel pillow, and it has like a cover over the inflatable part. So we'll see how this one holds up. I don't believe this one has the strap to go around my air mattress. So we'll just put it into my sleep silk for this time, and then I might rig up some straps for that. And then finally, new hiking pole. This is by REI, and it's the Flash Carbon series. A friend had these unused and was able to just pay him half price for it, which is a good deal because hiking poles are getting pretty expensive. But both of mine have gotten bent over the years from falling in snow. So already a couple things that I need to adjust or don't like. One, pretty typical, I just need to tighten up this bolt here because this part keeps sliding, so it's not locking it down enough. There's a spring in there that you tighten on that latch. And then the strap here, like, kind of hard to tell, but like has this little grippy thing so that you can adjust your strap, but it pops out and it scratches you. So I think I'm just going to potentially remove that completely. Looks like it's attached to the strap, so I'm going to figure that out because, yeah, I do not like that when my hand hits it. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's just a hiking pole, does the trick. Slushy and definitely moving. It's 4:40. I'm gonna go explore. There's Sir Richard Pond, there's Rainbow Lake and Island Lake. It's 3 miles round trip to go all the way out to Island Lake. So I'm just gonna wander. Got my snowshoes in my bag, super lightweight, and we'll see how the snow situation is. Here's the turnoff for Mount Defiance versus Island Lake. We're going to see if anyone's been out this way and how deep the snow gets. Someone has been out here maybe, but definitely not since the last snow. Thank goodness for GPS and phone navigation, because right now there's no clear path in the trees, but generally making it there. It's obvious most of the time, but yeah, I think we're gonna go this way. Okay, a little off trail, and this took me up too high, and I can't get down. It's these big snow drifts. So I'm gonna backtrack. That is the safe thing to do, and see if we can find the trail below. Okay, back on the trail, and I'm gonna keep going this way actually, but when I get back to this point, this is I think the rail trail based off of the map. So I've made myself an arrow so I don't backtrack up to that silly area that I was in. Well, we've made it to Sir Richard's Pond, not very far. The snow is definitely getting way more piled up. In terms of snow safety out here, the avalanche danger doesn't really exist when you're in this area because this area is just rolling hills and it doesn't have any high cliffs or steep sections that would bring down a lot of snow. There's 4 things that you need to worry about here. Tree wells, so deep snow, close to the tree, plunging through, getting stuck there. Snow bridges above water hazards that you might not be aware of, so that's another reason to look on the trail. But as snow melts out, it runs underneath and can create these snow bridges that you can fall through. I also use my pole to check what's coming ahead of me as well. And then cornices on some of these snow mounds. That snow mounds up and can create a ledge over the edge of the rock, and you step far out, you might actually not be standing on the rock anymore, and that cornice can break off. Even a small cornice, you hear about the big ones out in the mountains, but even small cornices on some of these rocks, just because of the wind piling all the snow up, can also be dangerous. So just a few things to look out for. Okay, I made it to Rainbow Lake. Oh my gosh, it's so wild out here. I'm the only person who's come out this way since the most recent snow. Well, that took me an hour to go a mile. so much harder to navigate in snow. It's not even that deep. I didn't put my snowshoes on, although I could have. It's about to my sock line. So I definitely have snow up to there. We're gonna head back because I'm a little bit just psyched out being out here by myself, and it's still another half mile or more because of snow navigation to go out to Island Lake. So this was my ultimate goal anyway, so very proud of myself. So I'm just gonna follow my tracks back to camp. I am starving. I cannot wait to have dinner. I got biscuits and gravy. Feels good to be back. I'm starving. My feet hurt. My back hurts. Whew, definitely gonna be chilly tonight here without the sun anymore. Put my layers on. I will change into dry clothes, but I just want to get some hot chocolate and some food going. I'm so hungry. And then I'm getting warm and cozy in my tent for the rest of the night, and hopefully not have to get up and go pee too many times. Got a nice spot for my hot chocolate. It's keeping me warm. Changed into warm layers that I'll hike out in tomorrow. Got my biscuits and gravy. I had previously taken out of the packaging for a different trip. And fortunately, these reusable Ziploc bags, because they're dishwasher safe, can handle the hot water as well. So if you need something in a pinch, I just got these at Target last year. And yeah. No leaking or melting, and these are small, so I just did half a package at a time. But for now, I'm going to just stay warm. Okay, no joke, just spent a minute trying to get my flashlight to turn on because the lock is pretty long hold, like 5 seconds. So it makes me even more annoyed that I was able to turn onto my pocket earlier and run the battery down. Ugh. Took a pee and got my Insta out there doing some star shots. So I'm gonna read for a while and then call it a night. Good morning. Didn't sleep amazing. It wasn't really supposed to be windy, but there's these big gusts that are coming up kind of above the trees. Fortunately, sounds like a freight train. And it would wake me up because I'd be worrying like the branches would fall because there was a ton of branches debris when I got here that I had to move around. I was just like, oh no, there's gonna be a branch that's gonna smush me in the middle of the night, but all is well. The call held up just fine though. Time to make some coffee and gonna pack up and just head out of here. It's a 4-mile hike back to the track. Alright, all packed up. A lot of that snow melted out last night really fast. That was all over the ground here. So I can tell it's warm. I mean, I had to take my jacket off just to pack things up. But time to head out and get back into the sunshine. The trail's melting out more, but the wind is also making it freeze up a little bit. So definitely some icier spots today. for joining me this week. It was really rewarding to get up to Little Bandera, Mason Lake, and Rainbow Lake, even in the snow, and also get some crazy, amazing spring weather coming in too. Until next time, stay safe, stay unstoppable, and I'll see you outside.